Taro boba, please. I love ube.
Hate to break it to you Filipinos, but taro and ube are not the same thing. Taro isn't even purple most of the time. The color we see when we order a taro boba actually comes from food coloring manufacturers use to dye it. But such little is known about the roots, besides the fact that they're purple, so they often get confused. While taro is grown and enjoyed across 4 different continents, ube is extremely unique to the Philippines. As we see the flavors becoming more common in the US, taking the form of every possible dessert, they're also becoming less connected to their history. So, is ube entering the mainstream worth it if the food isn't associated with Filipinos anymore? Is this the first time a cultural cuisine has been separated from its culture? And if we wanted them to, would businesses profiting from ube products ever give credit to the Philippines? I'm Sapphire Sandalo, and this is Breaking the Taro, where we talk real shit. This lack of credit and erasure of culture towards popular flavors in America isn't limited to ube. We saw it done with matcha in 2015 with the introduction of trendy green matcha lattes. Before the ingredient was reduced to the level of pumpkin spice, matcha held a special place in Japanese culture. The antioxidant properties and calming energy commonly associated with it today were traditionally brought out by a slow and meditative preparation process. But for the sake of wellness, Americans condensed that process into instant matcha packets. And the same thing is happening to ube. It won't be long before people start associating ube less with our culture and more with a Starbucks drink or even the color purple. Thinks, a company that makes underwear for periods, introduced a new color you can buy their products in, ube. They announced that they chose the purple because of how soothing it looked, not only failing to mention the Filipino culture it comes from, but dropping the announcement in February 2021 when anti-Asian hate crimes were rising to new heights. An account on Instagram even pointed out that there are young girls in the Philippines who don't have proper access to clean menstrual products or feminine hygiene education. So, companies are profiting off of Filipino culture without crediting the Filipino community or standing up for them when needed. Take Trader Joe's. Despite being a huge company that is distributing supplies of ube mochi waffles and matcha Jojo's nationwide, they don't mention the Philippines or Japan at all. So while it stings that we're not actually getting Filipino representation every time we order taro at a boba shop, it's not like we'll get any if they start serving ube too, because it doesn't help us if nobody sees us. Representation in food, seeing it in national grocery stores, reading national newspapers cover stories about it, doesn't mean anything if the food is separated from the culture it originated from. After all, how many of you knew matcha's cultural significance or that it was even from Japan? So for every ube product you purchase that doesn't credit the Philippines, try to also support Filipino businesses or businesses that are mindful of the way they introduce ube to their customers. Educate your non-Filipino friends on the history and significance of ube so they can make these conscious decisions too. Because when we take the time to align our values with what we're buying, instead of just purchasing whatever is convenient, stores pay attention. It's important to remember that companies are mass producing these flavors because they think hopping onto the trend will make them more money. Of course, we want more people to enjoy ube. After all, sharing food is Filipinos' love language, but we don't want the ube products at the cost of our history and connection with the food. So the next time you enjoy ube anything, remember, it's all thanks to Filipinos.